Hello and welcome back to In My Head. We took a week off last week because we were at District Council, and Ben, you need to tell people about this.
Twitch TV / Muskimo Joe.
That's right. Am I a little out of focus, Ben? Do I need to bring it in a little bit?
I think it looks fine. You're all good.
You know what? I'm tired of talking about Twitch.tv.
Yeah.
I'm tired of it.
But
you know what I'm not tired of?
What are you not tired of?
Is May the 4th be with you.
That's right. May 4th was this week. Did you watch your...
I got Les Toiles de la Mort 2.
The what?
I got this right here.
Ah.
It's the Death Star 2 from the Lego store. You know why I got this, Ben?
Did you say why or where?
Why?
Why'd you get that?
Because I got this. Princess Leia in Bosch disguise to go along with my other helmets.
Okay.
And I got the Emperor's throne room.
Right. You know, you were talking about this. Was this because of the promotion?
But I already had this. It's the Dumbledore's Phoenix. Right?
Oh, that's sick.
I bought that a year ago.
Yeah.
And the Up House.
Whoa.
My brother got this for me when we were at Disneyland. It's the entire set of The Office.
That's awesome.
You like that, Ben?
I like it. That's really cool. And was that because of the promotion? Weren't they giving away free stuff?
If you bought so much of the Star Wars Legos, you get about Death Star 2, right?
Okay,
which is really cool. You got a poly bag with the X-Wing fighter, but this is where it's at, Ben. This is where it's at. It's a Death Star coin that you put behind this, and you know, I just suddenly realized how lame this is.
That's pretty cool.
That's lame.
I'll take it if you don't want it.
I want it. Just kidding.
There you go. Awesome. Well,
hey Ben,
it's been a minute since we've
I know it's been a little bit. Hey Ben.
Yeah.
Say good night.
Good night.
Say good morning.
Good morning.
Say good night.
Good night.
Now say good morning.
Good morning. What am I looking for? Oh, that's
Say
cool.
good night, everyone in the pink house.
Yes, you got.
That
was the orange house. That was the.
Oops. That was the. No,
Nope.
no. Come on.
There you go.
Pink house.
That is cool.
I told
awesome.
everyone that I would fix that, and I did, because everyone is. It's really important that you just saw that for some reason.
Right now, what are we talking about today? What are we doing
today? We're talking about this, Ben. That's what we're talking about.
Yes. Is this you're getting put into the mental institution, or is that?
No, we're talking about pet peeves in ministry.
Yes.
We all have pet peeves in ministry. Like when you're building Lego sets and they forgot to include one little piece.
Yeah.
But you build so many Legos that you have a spare container full of Lego pieces, so it's really not that big of a deal.
Sure.
I'm just kidding. That's not a real pet peeve. That's just lame.
Yeah. Well, you know, but it's these little things that build up in kids ministry that after a long time just really gets to you.
That's right.
So
we just finished our series on the Beatitudes, and I have to say that this was the most challenging thing that I've ever taught to kids. And the reason why was not because of the content, because it's hard to teach, but because it was the most challenging to me.
Right.
As I was reading through each Beatitude, including the entire Sermon on the Mount, I realized how much at the Beatitudes I fail at. And it shows up in every area of life, whether I'm riding my board down the sidewalk or I'm at a store. Just this last week, I'm at a Macy's store. I actually shared this with the kids on Sunday morning. I'm at Party City, and I'm just trying to get a helium balloon. That's it. Just a helium balloon filled with air. I pick one out, and the lady behind the counter who had absolute 0% customer service.
Right. Oh, yeah.
Had absolute, hang on, we got a little quiet on the set. Quiet on the set, please. Sorry, we have a bunch of monkeys in here that we're having to, anyway, the lady behind the counter had 0% customer service. And when I went up to order my balloon, she literally looked like this.
Yep.
She didn't say welcome. She just said.
She didn't. It was zero interest at all.
Zero interest.
Yeah.
And I said, "Can I get the Grogu balloon?" And she said, "We don't have that."
It was there.
But it was on the wall.
On the wall.
And I was like, okay. I almost wanted to say, "Can I just take that one then?" But then she handed me this like like this list of other ones I could get.
Right.
And there's like 10 people in line behind me. And I go over to the side and I kind of look back and I'm like, I don't want to hold everyone up while I'm looking for the balloon replacement that I need. And so I said, you can help someone else in line. And she literally went, next, please.
She's very, very bored. You can tell that this is, the unfortunate, this person either is just having a bad day or they're probably not working the job they really wanted to
But see, in the moment, I'm not thinking about how she feels.
Right.
I was thinking about how irritated I was.
It is irritating though, because you're paying for a product.
Right.
And
so I pick out the balloon. I tell her this is the one I want. And she sells it to me and it's flat. It's a flat helium balloon. And she lays it on the counter and she says, thank you. And I go, I need helium in this. And then she goes, you do? I'm like,
she clarified, like she said,
yeah. She says, you do? And I said, yeah, I literally,
so she gave you an empty balloon with
She gave me an empty balloon with nothing in it, a helium balloon with nothing in it. And I said, I need helium in this. And she said,
oh, you do?
She said, you do? And I said, yeah, I'm not going to float a flat balloon.
Just drag it on the ground like,
yeah,
here you go.
I said, I was like completely, I was like, what do you,
happy birthday.
What do you expect? What are you expecting me to do with this? Like, it's empty. Like, of course I want helium in it. And I said, and I think I said something effective. What else am I supposed to do with it? And so she walks very slowly over to the other lady filling up helium balloons.
Yeah.
And she says, I'm going to have to put your name on this, sir. And I'm like, okay.
Go for it.
Fine. Spray paint it on there if you need to. I don't care. And so she goes to the other lady and the lady goes, it's going to be 45 minutes before we can fill this. I'm like, 45 minutes to fill a balloon? I literally said it like that. And I'm like, you know what? Can I just get my money back? And I walked to the counter and I was so irritated because I feel like there's so much terrible customer service now. Like when I was in high school, Ben, and you weren't obviously born yet, it was like very important to me that people had a good experience. I was 15 years old and had this in my head. Like,
sure.
I didn't want people to be upset I wanted people to have a happy experience at McDonald's.
Right.
Right.
You were also living in a town though where everybody knew everybody and you couldn't really afford to.
Yeah, maybe.
I think it's the culture of the town. I think that it was generally a nicer.
But I just think that no matter what, making people's lives better. It
should be, yeah.
I think that whether you're working at McDonald's or you're working at a check-in station at church, people's first... That employee sounds like a real cake sniffer. You know what? She was. She sniffed cakes.
I sniffed cake. I sniff cake too, to be honest. Sometimes
you have at some
point.
Now,
also, Rhonda Cow is watching. She says too much helium. Maybe Rhonda Cow has an idea.
What?
Too much
helium inhalation. You know what? I call great idea, but I call boot to that because if anyone's inhaled a lot of helium, it's this guy. Right? All right. So
that's true.
Customer service has gone out the window, especially since COVID, and it drives me crazy. It's like a pet peeve. Like I want to be the manager at some of these stores and go, all right, people, I don't want to fire anybody. Right. I just want to say, let's gather around. How many here want to have a good day? How many people come in here? If you make the experience fun, if you like customize the experience for every customer, I know that's asking a lot of some young people, but like if you customize the experience, you're going to actually grow that business. You're going to grow yourself. You're going to get a fan base of customers that want to come back to see you. And it doesn't matter what you do. If you're having fun in the moment and you're treating people with respect and you're actually glad to see them in your vicinity or your area, then you're no matter what you do is going to be successful, you know? But I feel like that's just gone away. And talking about pet peeves today, that's one of my pet peeves is like bad customer service. Right.
Or just inconsideration in general, I feel like. Somebody's driving like they're the only one on the road.
Inconsideration, yes. Yeah. Now, before we go too much farther,
sure.
We're going to come back to this because this is a big topic, and I actually looked some stuff up about pet peeves, especially pet peeves as a Christ follower.
Yes.
Should we have pet peeves as a Christ follower?
Absolutely.
Herbie Bee is not ordinary nature-made honeybee, but a socially incorrect Avery patrolman that tases offenders into repentance.
Yes. Now, that needs context.
No, it doesn't. Let's just leave it right there.
Okay.
Like, anyone watching is probably wondering why. But if you just understand the brilliance of my dad, you'll understand.
Yes, just understand.
No, I'm just kidding. We're actually gonna show a picture of that. So we're gonna come back to that. We're gonna come back to two things now. But first, we need to get to our book of the month. We have a brand new book.
Book of the month. Oh, new.
All right. Now, I've mentioned this book before, Ben, but
Yes.
it's worth mentioning again. It was probably first season. But
Right.
Thinker Toys. I cannot emphasize enough. My friend Jeff Duvall turned me on to this book, and it's by Michael Michalko. And this book, you can buy it on Amazon. It's very common, unlike the last book that we had. But this book is extremely challenging. It's challenging because it literally says it on the back, rethink the way you think. And if it's something that I know needs, and something I know that's very important in kids ministry is reshaping the way we think about creativity, about service preparation, about our planning, about why we do what we do. We need to use Thinker Toys. And this book has challenged me because from visual thinking, is that a thing?
Visual learning.
Visual
Thinking.
Visual learning.
And thinking, it works too. It works both ways, right?
Okay, yeah. But it challenges the way that you process things. So, everywhere I go, including standing in line at Party City, everything's an object lesson. I would hope that as a Christ follower, as a minister of the gospel, that I would have great object lessons, but I fail sometimes.
Right.
Especially in the area of the Beatitudes. Man, like I said, it was very challenging. But in Thinker Toys, it says this, under stretching the challenge, it says the samurai warrior was trained to keep his senses open to all possibilities. With his attention focused as broadly as possible, a samurai was more likely to detect a surprise attack or sudden movement than when his attention was focused analytically on a single object or way. To keep your mind open to all possibilities, stretch your challenge by asking why. Asking why will help you identify your general objective and allow you to challenge your assumptions. This, in turn, enables you to redefine and shape your challenges. Suppose your challenge is, in what ways might I sell more IBM computers? Step 1, why do I want to sell more IBM computers? Because our overall computer sales are down. Step 2, why do I want to sell more computers? In order to improve our overall sales volume. Step 3, why do I want to increase our sales volume? In order to improve our business. Step 4, why do I want to improve our business? To increase my personal wealth. Step 5, why do I want to increase my wealth? To lead a good life. So I love this because you can go from why do I want to sell more IBM computers all the way to so I can live a good life.
Right.
And this book is just packed. That's just one small paragraph. I love that concept because asking why about every single thing is important. On Sunday, Ben, I was challenged by one of our leaders, and they're a bit of an older generation who definitely doesn't always understand the antics of what we do, our craziness.
Sure, yeah.
But she and her husband both said, what if you mixed it up a little bit and reshaped your service order to put your message more toward the beginning? Because historically, we've always done like our antics, our skits and our games and all that stuff as kind of a preparation for the message. And I remember when she told me this, in my head, I felt opposed to it immediately. Like I was like, no, this is something we've practiced and worked on for years and years. We've always done it this way, so therefore we should always do it this way. Does that sound like a warning sign to you, Ben?
Yeah, it does. I think we've talked about that. That's never a reason why you should do something.
So as soon as I got over myself and I started listening, and again, they're an older generation, which means they have wisdom.
Yes, they do.
And I really processed through the service. At the end of service, I went back to them and I thanked them and I said, thank you for looking at our service in that way. And we had a meeting this morning and we changed our service order structure. Because,
I think so. Well, at least we need to try it at least.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
And if it doesn't work, then we tried. But we're going to put our message more closer to the beginning because then when this word came up, you always eat dinner before dessert, right?
Right. So if the kids are excited about something, let that be the dessert. Use that as like it's a carrot on a stick.
The dessert is meant to complement the dinner, not the dinner complement the dessert, right? And so the skits and the antics we're going to do last.
Yeah.
Now there's still stuff in this message, but I appreciate Wayne and Linda, you guys so much being a part of our kids ministry.
So much.
Those of you watching, hire the older. And I'm not saying they're old; they're young at heart, but hire varying generations in your ministry.
Yeah.
When I say hire, I mean I'm not saying pay them money, although that would be nice. But volunteer-wise, don't just add young people. Add older generation too, because the wisdom they come with is wisdom you need.
Absolutely.
So
indispensable. They're great people.
That's right. All right, Ben, before we get to our main topic, it's not a new topic. It's a behind the scenes, but we're going to do a little bit differently. Okay.
Okay.
It's our behind the scenes segment. Hey Ben, I added a new song. You like it?
I do. Oh yes, I do.
It's pretty nice. Instead of me humming it. Right?
Yeah, it's a little bit more high quality. This is like it's like Hollywood
it's like
stuff
Hollywood
now.
style. Yeah. Yes. Now Ben, create a new segment. I used DALL-E, which is AI generated images.
Is that a mortar?
No, I think it's a top with an acorn and a nut, and it looks like a squirrel of some kind.
Yeah, AI is not taking over the
AI is
world anytime
weird.
soon. We're fine.
And so I typed in "What's up with that?" And logo, and this is what they gave me. Except it wasn't. I added all the hand drawn segments because it said like wall dot up to or whatever. I'm like, this is weird. So Ben, we're gonna play a little "What's up with that?"
Okay.
All right, you ready for this?
Ready.
Okay. So first, I'm gonna show you an image of me, and my dad said something about Bert the Bee. So Ben,
Yes.
can you tell us what's happening here? What's up with that?
Ooh, I would love to. Okay. This was a two-parter. So the costume that you're wearing, that was never a part of this. However, you were backstage and had this idea, I'm sure, right? I don't really know.
I have no idea. Why am I dressed like that?
It was impromptu, and you kind of felt like it'd be fun, I think.
Okay.
So you came out just like that, but we had a segment during the Beatitudes where the Bert the Bee would the beekeeper would come out and introduce the spiritual concept that we're doing,
right.
like blessed is the meek, right?
Right.
And then Herbie Heckler, which is that fella in the cowboy hat there, would stand up in the audience and like, excuse me, why be meek when you can show everybody like how all the cool stuff that you have? And he would interrupt it from the audience. So the
opposite of the Beatitude.
Yeah, and the first time we did this, the kids were like, "What's going on? Like, this adult leader is like disrespecting like the fact." But it became very obvious very soon when he came up on stage and continued heckling. Right. I would then come out with a taser, dressed up as a bee.
Right.
And I would tell a bee-related joke, and then I'd sting him.
Right.
And I'd shock him a little bit. And so that's what's going on
that's
here.
All the kids needed to know about the Beatitude that day.
Exactly. Is Bert the Bee got shocked for messing with Bert the Bee shocked the Herbie Heckler. So,
right. It was basically our creative way of we had 9 weeks of the Beatitudes, and so this was a segment we would do to kind of introduce what the Beatitude was, but not necessarily what it meant.
Yeah.
Right?
Right. It was a creative way of doing that for sure. It was very fun.
Ben, we have one more.
Okay.
What's up with that? Oh wait, Blake, bring that. What did Alana just say?
Sweet fancy Moses.
Sweet fancy Moses.
Oh, that's funny.
We're actually gonna have Alana on the show, by the way, at some point.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
She's a kindergarten teacher, and I have to say this. I got to go back to see this.
Sure.
I think I'm saying this to everybody, and I'm putting my name on this. She is one of the best kindergarten teachers that I've ever encountered.
Yes.
The way that she builds relational value with those kids, and the way that she sets those kids up for education for the rest of their lives is essential. And
Absolutely.
I love the way that she does it. So Alana will be coming on the show whether she wants to or not.
Right.
All right, Ben.
Awesome.
What's up with that?
Okay, so this is game night. We're doing a modified version of Deal or No Deal.
Okay.
And
I didn't know you took this picture, by the way.
Yes. Well, here's the thing. You left your phone on the back thing. And you know the banker in Deal or No Deal, right?
Right.
So we decided to make it fun and have this character come out that'll try to get the kids to take the deal. And that was my character. So I'm dressed up like an old snake oil salesman.
You look like the Monopoly guy's like stepbrother.
Oh, yeah. You know, that's pretty good. Yeah. His stepbrother that didn't really quite make it. So, and I stole your phone and started taking pictures.
Nice. Okay, so you're the banker on Deal or No Deal.
Yes.
And one of the kids is up there trying to make a choice.
Yes. And I'm trying to influence that. I'm trying to sell them shovels and stuff.
I love it. That's
fun.
Awesome. Games to play with kids. Really important.
Yeah.
Alana, thank you. She just said she's so honored. Wow. You deserve every bit of it. And I think you should teach a master class on teaching kindergarten kids. So that's for real.
Absolutely.
All right, Ben. We're going to save our vault video for the last.
Okay.
But I want to dive into this pet peeves because I certainly have them. And so let's do this. You and I have worked together. Those of you that don't know, I'm a kids pastor at Destiny. My son Ben is my assistant, although in every right he could be a kids pastor on his own. You're really gifted, Ben.
Well, thank you, Father.
And am I being selfish for not letting you go?
letting me go,
like to another
firing
church, because all these churches do ask me, it's like, when are you going to release Ben to be a kids
I would
pastor
tell
at
you
church?
if I was ready. I don't feel ready yet.
Well, I won't recommend you until I feel I'm ready.
Okay, there you go. I'll get a good replacement going.
I'll just tell people you're horrible.
Oh yeah, no, he's
I'm just
terrible.
kidding.
That's funny.
All right, so I do have pet peeves. So Ben, you know me as my assistant. You know me as your dad.
Right.
I know you as my assistant, and you know me as your dad.
Yeah.
What are some of my pet peeves?
The inconsideration is a big thing. If somebody is acting selfishly in one way, is when you're driving. There's a way of things that should be done,
Right.
and when people go stray from the way that things should be done, you do not like it.
I don't like inconsideration.
Not at all.
I don't like it when people think very selfishly. It really bothers me.
Right. That and complaining.
Complaining.
That's a big one for you.
That is a big one for me. Ben, did you know that complaints solve nothing?
They do in certain contexts.
I'm trying to get myself more in focus.
Like venting. That's a
Venting?
kind of a form of complaining.
Yeah, venting. I mean,
But you do it to somebody
yeah,
like outside of, you don't just walk in the room and be like, oh.
right. Like you and I will have a vent session where we're venting about things, but
Yeah.
we're in the vein of problem solving.
Right. But it's not like Sunday morning and I walk up on stage and I'm like, hey kids. Sorry.
Yeah. Or we're getting ready to have our meeting and like someone walks in and I'm like, hey, how's it going, everybody? Like we're there to minister to kids and everyone's, should be ready to go.
Good.
And they walk in late and I say, how you doing? And they say, tired.
I'm tired and I stubbed my toe this morning. Yeah. And it's like, okay, sit down. It's time to meet.
Yeah. It's like, it's just like, you just want to go.
Right.
Like, here's the deal. This is why I get irritated with this. When you come into the room where you're supposed to be encouraging, equipping, and being a good teammate, and you
Right.
come in and say I'm tired, then you suck the energy out of the room, and you force people to do two things: either console you and say, "Oh, I'm sorry, you're not getting enough sleep at night.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not getting enough bed rest. You didn't have good sleep. You didn't drink enough coffee this morning."
Well, now your back's gonna hurt because you just pulled landscaping.
Yeah, now your back's gonna hurt. Or you force everyone to stay away from you because you're a complainer.
Well, and really, that's like there is a way to go about it, the right way, but
yeah. So
sometimes
one of my
don't
young leaders, you weren't working for me at the time, but she came in and said, "I'm tired," and I literally said, "Out, go back out and try again."
Right.
And she went out and came back in. And I said, "How you doing?" She goes, "Good. I have full of energy." And I was like, "That's what I'm talking about."
There you go. Yeah.
Tiredness is a state of mind, and it is a pet peeve of mine.
Yeah, that is a good way of dealing with that, though. That's good.
Can I guess what a pet peeve of yours is?
You may.
Laying things on you last second, like last minute requests, like last second requests, like, "Hey Ben, I need you to go do this." And if it was you were already doing something or already had an idea of doing something, then I think that really bugs you.
I gotta say though, that used to be a huge problem.
You are better at it now.
I kind of do. I kind of got better at being a little bit more impromptu about things, but it used to be I would be more than frustrated.
Right.
So yeah.
Right.
I get it.
And I also, it's like another pet peeve of mine is I can't stand it when the backstage is a mess.
Yes.
You
can't stand it when anything's a mess.
You're right. And it's funny because some people would think that my life is absolute chaos and I've got clowns like living in my place and there's like circus going on constantly in my life and they think I'm just, rolling around on the ground and eating candy all the time. And I think that's how people think I live.
People really, one thing to understand about my dad is he does hold an absolute standard of, he holds this middle line of standard. There's crazy, yes, but everything has to be managed and taken care of and accordingly.
The chaos has to have,
there has to be a clean, organized base for the chaos. So if you see his house, I mean, you can come in, I can walk in here on like a day off just randomly, and I guarantee you this place is clean.
Right.
Like I feel like you don't leave dishes in the sink. For reference, I'm not the cleanest. I mean, I'm not dirty. It's not gross or anything, but yeah, I'll leave stuff out. But my laundry will pile up for a little bit, but I don't think yours does.
I think in order to be organized on the front stage, you have to be organized in the backstage.
Right.
And it just like, it fries my circuits when everything's piled up and it's nails on the chalkboard for me.
Right. Now, all these, sorry, I didn't mean to.
No, you're good.
All these things like piled up for kids ministry, There's probably a bunch of stuff. I feel like dealing with people in general can be frustrating for anybody.
Yeah, and I think that when you try to control every aspect of ministry, you can't really control every aspect of ministry, and you shouldn't.
Right.
And I also think that you absolutely must rely on other people.
Yeah.
And
one thing I think I've observed is I think all this leading this is all like going to a point, but I think when the pet peeves start getting extreme, I think it means that you got to take a break.
Right?
I
came home yesterday and I was crossing the crosswalk on my board, and look, if I get hit by a car, I'm dead. Like that's where it's at. If you get hit by a car, then your car is dented. If I get hit by a car and I'm on my board, I'm dead. Okay.
Yeah.
And so
that's true.
This lady looked me right in the eye. I was crossing the crosswalk and she just flew right in front of me like I was in her way, and she went around me to go. And I just got, I remember flaring up and just feeling so frustrated, and like, because she would have killed me, and it's all because she wanted to shave a second off her time getting home. And I just thought, how recklessly selfish, Mm-hmm. And then I remember coming home yesterday, and granted, after a day of ministry, you really, I don't know about most people, but I need to kind of lock away and take a nap, because I've drained out so much that the wrong version of me may come out if I don't get refilled quick, Yes. And so
that's why you can't operate on empty. I feel like that's
why you can't. You need to refresh, right? So, but my point is, I noticed yesterday, I said, if you find yourself as a Christ follower, as a minister especially, if you find it really hard to follow the Beatitudes, like blessed are the peacemakers, blessed are the poor in spirit, if you find it difficult, it's time to take a break. It's time to go on vacation. Do something to reset, to refill, to refill your love, because yesterday when that lady crossed in front of me, I wouldn't say that I would mourn the fact that she wasn't saved. And I know that sounds terrible, but if you're weak in the moment, you're not going to think about people like that. You're not going to think about the disconnect that people have with God when they're acting crazy, right?
Yeah, right.
And so I need to feel that, and I need all those things to be in place. And so that's why rest and breaks are super important, because otherwise you're going to look at the world through this almost like this frustrated lens, know? And so I found, even when I was at Party City, that lady in the crosswalk yesterday, Ben, every single time, and this is why the Sermon on the Mount, Matthew chapter 5-7 is the most challenging portion of scripture in the Bible.
It's pretty good.
And it's Christ gave us those to follow, but it was so challenging because I find how many ways I failed. So even the lady at Party City, do you think I was operating in the Beatitudes when I was at that counter getting a helium balloon?
No.
I was not.
No, she was needed, to be fair, but
she needed customer service, and she needed a loving, guided hand to say, look, there's a better way. Right. But as a Christ follower and as a minister, I was acting very much in the flesh. Right. And I realized how strong the flesh is, Yes. And so I actually did a deep dive, Ben, on pet peeves.
Really?
And I literally Googled pet peeves, or should a Christian have pet peeves, is what I Googled. And I found this blog from Faith Gateway, and it says, don't pet the peeves.
That's creative.
That sounds like bad. Like, I wouldn't start an article like that, like, don't pet the peeves. It just...
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
It sounds weird. Right. But I love, because the idea of it is, don't give life to the things that irritate you.
Yes.
That's
a good one.
So, one of the headlines is, joy is such a precious commodity. Why squander it on a quibble? And it says, the phrases we use regarding our pet peeves reveal the person who actually suffers. He gets under my skin. He gets on my nerves. She is such a pain in my neck. Whose skin, nerves, and neck ours. Who suffers? We do. Every pet peeve writes a check on our joy account.
That's good.
And I like this. It says, suppose a basket of ping pong balls represents your daily quota of happiness. Each aggravation, if you allow it, can snatch a ball out of your basket. He left his dirty clothes on the floor. A joy ball vanishes. She waits until the last minute to apply her makeup. Plop, there goes another one. I don't know why people get tattoos. That's random.
That is random.
I don't know why my tattoo is his business. Big trucks shouldn't take up 2 parking places. Preachers shouldn't grow facial hair.
What kind of a... What? That's a new one. I've never heard that one.
But it is. And then it says, Ephesians chapter 4, verse 2, be patient, bearing with one another in love.
Right.
If you really follow that, I don't think that pet peeves can exist. And in your relationship in your
it's a symbol
walk with Christ.
For me, at least, I agree. For me, it's a sign. I start getting irritated. I mean, like, I hang around. I have like my core group of like buddies that I hang out with and I love dearly. And, we spend a lot of time together. And they're great. They're great men. They're great Christians. I love them. But then there's extended people outside of that are like their friends, right? Or mutual that we hang out with, that I noticed that I start getting snappy because I play some online games, right? So sometimes, you'll be talking to these people for an extended amount of time and I'll start getting snappy and I will, like, for a minute, I'll be like, he is so dumb. And I know that right then when I start making these and I start feeling a certain way about them, I have spent way too much time there and I need to pull myself back. I'm not operating in the fruits of the Spirit. I'm not operating in that thing. And I'm not protecting it's a sign that I'm not protecting my time or my spirit or my heart and all that stuff. If that makes sense. I don't know what you think about that.
Yeah. Yeah. It does say in the Bible, the whole, Matthew chapter 7, why do you notice a little piece of dust in your friend's eye, but you don't notice the big piece of wood in your own eye?
Right. That's a big one.
It is big. And I think it's easy to read and it's easy to to understand his wisdom, but it's really hard to implement,
Yeah.
It did say in here, and I love this. It says, you wish people would stop complaining. Like, do you ever get to the point where, like, we just talked about this, right?
We just talked about this. Yeah.
Do you wish people would stop complaining? When you quit complaining yourself, like if I quit complaining myself, then the world is minus one more whiner.
That's a good quote. We need to hang that on the wall.
We need to, and I need to read it every day I leave my house, because man, do I whine, and man, do I complain, and man, am I that person behind the desk at Party City complaining about, I'm a cake sniffer myself, but I don't think about it as being a cake sniffer. I think everyone else is a cake sniffer. It means like you sniff the cake, but you don't eat it.
I don't understand. I'm sorry. We can. I don't get
it. Next time I get a piece of cake and I'm in a public setting, Ben.
Okay.
I'm just gonna plunge my nose right into that piece of cake, and I'm just gonna.
Yeah, I don't really like this kind of cake, and then put it back.
But it's a good topic because I do have pet peeves, and I think the more pet peeves I have, the farther I am from bearing one another's burdens, and the farther I am away from showing true empathy for people. And where it says, "Blessed are those who mourn."
Right.
At times I really struggle with mourning for people, especially people that I feel like are being jerks.
Right.
And it's hard because you're in the store, and just because I'm not in church doesn't mean I'm not in ministry, right? So I'm at the store buying this remote device for my Lego lights, and the clerk is being completely rude. I'm still in ministry, and that person still needs to see the love of Jesus. And who am I speaking at? This guy right here. I have to remind myself of this constantly.
Right.
So if anything today, Ben's topic is just a kind of this is just a giant self-help session for me.
A giant self-help, yeah.
I mean, I hope it means something to you guys, but the complainers in ministry, I would say I'm a huge complainer in ministry, and I need to stop. I need to just stop. You need to stop complaining, Leonard. Okay, cake sniffer is a clean and safe thing to call others that upset you or bother you.
That's good. Okay.
All right.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I was wondering. I was like, what does this mean?
The next time I have to work extra hard at, like, Celebrate America, do I go up to Pastor Greg and say, Pastor Greg, you're being a cake sniffer?
No. Definitely not. Especially if you value, I don't know.
I value my job.
Yeah.
No. Here's the thing. This is the thing I love about hard work, is that you should never complain about doing hard work, because hard work always produces such great excellence in yourself.
Right. Yeah.
And if it wasn't hard, it wouldn't produce anything.
Yeah. And you're kind of spoiling it. I mean, the hard work can harden you or make you bitter. And
and this is my encouragement to everyone. I said this years ago, Ben.
Yeah.
I did a study on Black Friday, and I don't know if you remember this or not, but I looked up this was a couple years ago. I looked up the top 10 things that people buy on Black Friday, and number 2 across the board. This is like for years. Okay. Number 2 on the list of most purchased items is pajama pants. And my thought is like,
on Black Friday?
On Black Friday. Like, people buy pajama pants on Black Friday. My thought is this: if you're wearing out pajama pants, then, and this is not me complaining.
Well, they're buying it for Christmas gifts, aren't they?
Yeah, maybe. But look, how many pajama pants do you need? If you're wearing out pajama pants, then maybe this is just reflection, okay?
Okay.
If you're wearing out pajama pants more than you are your work pants, then
you gotta get out there.
You gotta get out there and go to work. You know, you do. You have to get out there and go to work. And I want to bring up one more thing about being cake sniffers, because I'm going to use that word now. If you're complaining, then you're a cake sniffer. All right. And like going back to, I'm just going to cover my bases here. Pastor Greg is not a cake sniffer. I said it. I'm saying it right now. He's an amazing boss, an amazing leader. In fact, I want to reflect on Pastor Greg. Some people struggle when truth is presented in an upfront, right now manner. Okay.
Right. Yes.
So I know that our fearless leader is not afraid of speaking truth, and I admire that about him.
Yep.
But here's the thing: is it complaining, or is it being like? Is it showing pet peeves when you stand up for truth?
No. There's purpose behind it, though.
Right.
I think that's the difference. There's a purpose behind calling out truth.
Thank you, Ben. Thank you. You said it very well. There is a purpose behind it. If your pet peeve has a purpose, like I'm going to stand up for the truth of the gospel. I'm going to stand up for what's right. I'm going to stand up for children, so that they're protected. That's not a pet peeve. That's, the Bible says be angry and sin not. You can be angry.
Yeah.
But if it's for selfish motives, like my time is being dented because I have to stand in line here.
Right.
That's not standing up for truth. That's just being a whiner. That's being a cake sniffer.
Cake sniffer. That's a good one. That's the word of today.
Yeah.
Cake sniffer.
Cake sniffer. Whenever you, if you're, and a pet peeve is selfishly motivated. It is not for the betterment of the kingdom. Okay.
Right.
So don't be a cake sniffer, aka whiner. Put on your work pants and get out there and get to work. And you know what? Right. Have fun doing it, because hard work is fun if you only can see what you get out of it.
Right.
All right.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
I like it.
Hey,
now we have one more.
No, we have two more things.
Two more things.
Yeah, we have two more things, because next week we're going to have McKenna, who's in charge of Elevate, our preteen program. But real quick, keep that up there.
Yep.
My dad wrote a chapter here. The root of a peeve is resentment. Pet peeves are a personal collection of things that you resent about others. How could we ever resent someone?
By biblical standards. That's a good one.
Ooh.
I love it, Grandpa.
I feel like that's the mic drop. That's where we close out.
Yes.
It's very true. It's very true. Deep thoughts to think about. So the next time any of you hear me complaining about anything, and trust me, I am tempted to complain about a lot, call me a cake sniffer. They say just tell me, don't be a cake sniffer. Don't be sniffing that cake. All right?
Okay.
All right. Hey, Ben, we need to get to our vault video because this one's a doozy.
Oh, boy.
Everyone's probably wondering what is that? What is happening here? Well, it was in the middle of our series, and we had to send old Festus and Leonard.
Right, Festus, which was the guy with the big mustache, played by Dale. He's he's the bad guy. He's always robbing Leonard, and Leonard obviously doesn't like that. Right. So,
and Leonard is also a complainer. He's a cake sniffer.
Absolutely, yeah. So that's his big thing is he's never happy. So they did this whole showdown.
Yeah,
and then that's when Dutch sent us on that friendship journey to learn to be friends.
And of course, the kids loved it. And
it was so fun.
anytime the reason I show you guys that is because anytime you can go out, you can. We just used our iPhone. We just went out and we're silly out in public. The kids love you for it. And kids ministry is not meant to be comfortable.
Right.
So get out there and have fun with it. And
that's right.
The message of the day is, I like what my dad said. I couldn't remember all that he said, but basically he said, "Don't be a cake sniffer."
Yeah, the root of a peeve is resentment. The pet peeves are a personal collection of things that you resent about others. How could we ever resent someone by biblical standards?
That's right. That's right.
I like it.
Well, thank you guys for watching. We're going to do one more thing. We got to spin the wheel, Ben.
We got to spin the wheel. Oh man, is this for is this for McKenna?
This is for McKenna.
McKenna Shrum. Okay, so, I'm going to go full screen on me.
And I'll hold the camera.
Okay.
And this is going to be the character that McKenna interviews, or that interviews McKenna at the end of the show next week. So
I really hope you're
Ben,
watching, McKenna.
Give that a spin.
All right. Yay!
Squirrely Joe! Squirrely Joe is going to be interviewing McKenna.
I was kind of hoping for Reporter Harry, but that'll be amazing either way.
Oh, that would have been really funny. But hey, guys, thank you so much for watching In My Head. We are live every single Monday. We are going to be off on, just so you guys can plan ahead for this, because I know this is a big part of your week. June 19th, we are going to be heading up to summer camp. And so we will not be live because there's no internet up there. So we will not be live that week. But we're going to be live every other week. Even if I get hit by a car crossing the crosswalk, I will do In My Head live from the hospital room.
So, but you only do that once a year. So you've already done that this year.
Right. I've already been to the hospital once this year. Okay. And if I'm in a coma, then just put like an animated puppet mouth on my face, or get a string and pull my mouth like.
We'll do like a marionette thing.
Treat me like a marionette, okay?
Deal.
And talk for me.
That is, yep, that's permission.
Right. Oh, by the way, Ben.
Yeah.
This is for no reason at all. I was supposed to do it once this episode, and I forgot. That honestly needed to be done after my dad said what he said, because I thought that was a brilliant statement.
That was brilliant, yeah.
So, you guys, thank you so much for watching our live show about the behind-the-scenes creativity of kids ministry. We have a brand new segment next week. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but it does involve something crazy. Okay.
Oh, really?
Yes, it's going to be crazy.
That narrows it down.
Yeah, it narrows it down. But it's a new segment we have. This is about behind-the-scenes creativity. So it's going to be like kind of like a pro tip, if you want to. That's a good hint. It's going to be called a pro tip in kids ministry that will elevate your game in a crazy way. Elevate. Get it? Because McKenna teaches
Pastor McKenna, the pastor of Elevate. Yep. There we go.
All right. You guys, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next week.
See you next week.